Okay, so this is our second video creating our coil pots. So these are my sketches. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to start changing the shape of your coil pot. So unless you're building one that's completely straight up and down, you're going to have to use this technique to change the outside shape. So if you want the walls to start going in and curving out, you'll have to attach your coils differently. I'm also going to show in this video real quickly how to include maybe a spiral coil shape in the wall of your coil pot, because I know some of you want to do that. So I already rolled 3 coils ahead of time, and I'm unwrapping my base that has 2 coils added to it so far. The plastic is wrapped all the way around because I don't want this to get dried out when I'm not here. So you can see my progress so far. I have 2 coils so far, and I have some areas where I smooth and blended the coils, and then I'm leaving some areas where my coils are going to show. And that was in my sketch. So smooth coils on one side, exposed coils on the other. I'm going to start making my wall go out a little bit. So I want actually, so it doesn't really look like this in my sketch, but I'm going to have the walls go out and then curve in. So if you want your walls to curve out, what you're going to want to do when you go to score and add your next coil, so here's my coil. Let me see if this is big enough. I might need to roll that one out a little more. Let me grab a longer one. So normally I would score right directly on top. If I want my wall to go straight up, I would score right on top. But if I want my wall to start growing out, I'm actually going to score on the outside. So a little bit outside, rather than right here on top, on the outside of my last coil. So I'm going to go ahead and use my needle tool and score that up. Remember, you want your scores to be going in several different directions. I'm going very fast for the sake of the video, but when you guys are doing this, really take your time, because if you speed through your scoring and you don't score well enough, things will fall apart once we start to let these dry. And once they start drying and things fall apart, there's nothing we can do to fix it. You would just have to take a loss. So I need to score my coil really good. And after I'm done scoring my coil, the next step would be to add some water and then score it again. Okay, so I'm taking my sponge and patting water onto my coil pot, scoring it again, and that creates slip. So this should be a review. This was all covered in the last video. And then I have to do the same thing to my coil. I'm going to add water, and I'm going to rescore it to create some slip. All right. So as I'm attaching this, make sure this is lined up. Okay. I'm actually pressing on the outside. Instead of putting it directly on top, I'm angling it a little bit to the outside, making sure that my scores are meeting up with my other scores. So this is good because now you guys can see what to do when your coil is too long. So you don't want to ever use a coil that's too short. If it's too short to wrap all the way around, you want to roll a longer coil. But having a coil that's a little bit too long is not a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice this on an angle with my palette knife, and then I'm going to kind of mark off where these meet up and slice my other piece on a different angle, the opposite angle, so that these will lay flat onto each other. Now, of course, I have to score Get some water, score again. Because anytime we attach something, we always score. And then I can blend those together. Okay, so I'm just kind of wiggling this to make sure that it's attached, but I want to flip it sideways so you can see this, what will create my wall to start to grow out. See that, how it's getting wider? So I'm going to take a few minutes and I'm going to go in with my wooden knife to make sure that everything is seamlessly blended. Now this doesn't look too great right now because it really needs some work. I need to blend these. I need to cut, like I have a big chunk of clay right there. That needs to be removed and smoothed out. So this is gonna take a little bit of work. I can kind of get it into the place that I want it to be and start blending and smoothing this coil to make it nice and look the way I want it to look. But that is how you would change the shape. So if you wanted to have the wall go in, then you would do exactly the same thing, but instead of putting it on the outside, you'd start attaching coils on the inside so that it would start growing inward. And I will make another video where I show that. I did say that I would demonstrate how to add spirals into your wall. I'm actually going to do that in the next video. I think this is a good place to stop for today.